Tasmania. Milo snapped an axle, stuck in mud, and the oil's leaking out into the pond. You reckon this is good fun? Let's see what we've got to do to get here. This is the west coast of Tasmania. We're just north of Granville Harbour, and we're going to drive all the way up the coast to the Pymans. And from there, we're going to cut inland to Corinna, and I'm hoping we'll be able to do the Balfour track too. Wow, this is one of the wildest, most remote places on earth. An absolute magic place to bring your four-wheel drive.
If you're into tough four-wheel driving and epic campsites, then this is the video for you. And I've also got cracking news too. Get 10% off store-wide at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre. That's 10% off winches, spotlights, and heaps more gear. Just keep an eye out for the exclusive discount code in this video. And of course, enjoy the adventure.
First morning of our trip, and we're blessed with sunshine. The track's pretty straightforward drive in this weather, but it doesn't mean you won't encounter any dramas along the way, as we were soon to find out. I was just happy it wasn't us. Well, for now. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. Look, we're bogged to the hilt up there. Can you give us a
No worries, mate. I've got a really powerful truck right behind me.
Excellent.
Good on you. All right, mate. I'll get out of the road.
You're the knights in shining armour.
And before we can even start this DVD, we've got to unblock the track. This place is wild. These tracks change from rock to sand and sand to rock pretty quickly as you're driving along. And on a day like today, the sand is pretty soft and easy to sink into if you don't have enough momentum. Especially if you're towing a couple of tons of boat behind you. Just don't run over the strap if you can help it, because it'll get tangled up. It'll take too long.
Good to go?
Off you go, mate. We've got Gleno on this job with a simple snatch out. He should make light work of this with that 80 of his. Yep, no dramas at all.
Away. See that? The old Root Systems truck. Barely noticed it. So I reckon you guys are bush angels.
Danny reckons we're bush angels for pulling him out. See you, fellas. Have a good day, eh? Good on you. A lot of water on the track, a lot of big dips full of water. No real drama, it's pretty solid underneath, on the sand anyway, so it's not a problem. In fact, it's not a bad thing at all, because it's washing some of the salt off the truck. But I'll tell you what, if there's this much water this early on this track, imagine what it's going to be like further up the back there. Water on sand isn't such a drama. Water on mud, water on clay, water on soil, that can get swampy. I reckon we'll be finding a few swamps before the day's out. We haven't done real good on timing the tide today. This tide is right up.
Yeah, according to my watch, John, we're just about smack bang on high tide.
It's not a monster tide, and the sea's not as bad as it can be. I guess all we can do is give it a go, really. Look at that for a view. It's just glorious, isn't it? The country around here is superb. Working our way through the rocks and puddles up the back of the conical rocks. We're heading up to the Pymans River. I've been here before, and it's a fascinating lifestyle, it really is. Especially if you like crabs and abalone. This is a great place. We all knocked our tyre pressures back to 16 for the run up the beach. But after losing, what, 2 tyres off rims on the camera cars, and then Dave's, it starts making you think. And what it made me think was that this is pretty awkward ground. Because even though you've got all this mud and slush and everything else, the sort of stuff you really would like low pressures for, You've also got lots of surprise little rocky ridges and things like that, usually hidden under dirty water puddles. And that, of course, is what's peeling our tyres off. So we've pulled a bit of a compromise now. We've gone from 16 back to 25. 22, 25, depending on the weight of the vehicles. Hopefully that'll keep a few tyres on rims.
Oh, get a load of that view, guys. Wow. All the way down to the Pieman. Beautiful.
The famous Pieman, eh?
That's it there, just at the end of the beach.
That looks awesome. It's massive.
Fantastic place, hey? It's amazing to think that, you know, they used to get boats in and out of there. Well, they still do get boats in and out of there. But imagine doing that in a steamer in the old days in the big sea.
We're on our way to meet our old mate Kim and his dad Mick. They own one of the shacks down here at the Pieman Heads, and they've been coming here for years. It's no wonder, really. It's just beautiful down here. How are you, Kim? Good to see you, mate. How long have you been coming here?
Over 70 years.
What was it like in the early days?
Pretty light on for people, not many shacks.
Yours is one of the first, I believe.
Oh yeah, there was a couple there before this one. This shack of ours has grown a bit since about 1968.
Yeah.
It used to be Dad's office at Surrey River.
Yeah.
After they finished, the boss up there said to him, Mick, you've done a good job. He said, 20 quid and you can have your office. So,
20 quid?
20 quid. Yeah. It floated down the river on a punt. Yeah.
How did you come in the early days?
Oh, it was only a pick and shovel road, gravel road,
Yeah.
which is still, most of it is now, anyhow, from Savage.
What were you driving then?
We had a 1936 Ford. We only drove it down to Crina there and we hired a boat.
Yep.
The 1.5 horsepower Anzani. How about that?
Mike, can I ask you how old you are?
I'll be 90 on the 22nd December.
Fair dinkum.
Yep. Every bit of it.
This lifestyle must be very good for a man, that's all I can say.
Worked hard, played hard,
Yeah.
had a lot of fun.
Yep.
Still living.
And come down the Piemans a lot.
Yeah. Still living.
Good on you, Mike. Kim was kind enough to give us a guided tour of his shack. He doesn't actually live here, but it's a place to come and get away from it all and live a sort of a more simple life for a while. This is his old office from the side. Gas fridge?
Gas fridge, yep.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Best one for food, grog or whatever. We're ready to go there. Kim knew I'd be interested in some of his toys. Wow, he's got some beauties too. Whoa! Oh, the rest of the shed fell down. Oh, look at this. The old fat wheel motorcycles. If you could carry one spare on your whole 4B, you'd carry one of these. Because you could get out from anywhere with this thing. I haven't seen one in years. Oh, you got two of them. Holy dooly. Of course, there's nothing better than a Suzuki four-wheel drive or a little Daihatsu on soft sand and in terrain like this. And they're really popular down here too. In fact, some of them haven't got that much rust. It was great to meet Kim and his dad and get a first-hand insight into this area. But if we're going to complete our trip on schedule, we have to say our goodbyes and get moving.
Hey, John, where are we going now?
The plan is to head up the inland track here and see if it's a bit different. Might see some different country. Our only issue is that we've got to make the ferry. No idea how this inland track's going to be. October in Tasmania isn't the best month to be doing this kind of stuff. Well, it is or it isn't, depending on your viewpoint, I guess. This track is chopped up like you wouldn't believe. Oh, Tasmania. Wild, wonderful, free, and very wet. Couple of issues here. One is that there's so many tracks around here. Most of them go on the same way, but it's like a bit of a rabbit warren. And the other one is that it's going to be dark pretty soon. And the combination like that, which is one you get a fair bit in uncharted bits of Australia, means you've got to practice a little bit of common sense. And in our case, that means that every vehicle has to be able to see the tail lights of the vehicle in front. Now, I'm in front, and if I make a mistake and go the wrong track, I'll get on the radio and tell the guys as soon as I can. But as long as they're following me, there's a fair chance we're all going the same way. We're not going to get lost. Well, that's the plan anyway. Whoops. There's a good opportunity to go another way. I think I'll go straight forward here. With the day drawing to a close, the last thing I wanted was a mechanical problem. But after that bog hole, I knew something had gone wrong. I snapped the long axle in the high country, and we sorted that out. And now we've snapped the short axle. And I guess it's just par for the course, isn't it, Gleno? Look at that, eh? It's not the axle that's broken, it's the studs.
It's time at a pace though, isn't it?
It's a good time. It's not a good time, it's not a great place. I shoved the cloth up there basically just to stop too much crap going in and too much oil coming out. Right at the moment, the fix is simple. It consists of putting the rear locker on. At least I've got one wheel drive up the back. My big trick now is to lay off the front locker, not that I use it much anyway, until I desperately need it. So really, what I'm doing here is driving along in two-wheel drive, diagonally. This weather, this track, and two-wheel drive just don't mix, and I knew it wouldn't be long before I got stuck again. The trouble is, it was always going to be in a place that I didn't want it to be. With Milo sitting here in this dirty water, it's just getting into that axle housing. This is a pretty bad situation, guys. How did it all go so wrong? We have to move fast now. It's going to be dark soon. As luck would have it, and as you'd expect with a situation like this, I got stuck again and again. Things weren't looking good at all. It's getting dark, it's slippery as hell. Raining? Milo's a two-wheel drive. Are we having fun yet? We've got two snatch straps attached, and Dave's still on a slippery plateau, and I've got 10 feet in front of me where the diffs are bottoming out. So this is not ideal, but right at the moment it's probably all we can do. Morale had sunk to new depths by now, and it was almost impossible to find our way in these conditions. With the weather worsening and freezing temperatures, we were in real strife, when suddenly a voice came over the radio.
Oh, you guys there, it's coming in now in the four-wheel drives there, you're better off sticking to the water holes, real solid bottom in the water holes there, try not to go around there. Oh, good on you, mate. Who's that? I can see your lights coming now. You're about to get to me shag. When you get here, call in and have a beer. Oh, mate, that's an offer too good. What's your name, mate? Always. Oh, g'day, Paul. This is John Roothy, mate. I'm here with the four-wheel drive action crew. Mate, that beer sounds so good. We'll be there in a minute. Yeah, it'd be nice to meet you.
Get more for less at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre with incredible deals on Adventure King's camping and outdoor gear. Take your camping experience to the next level with the amazing Grand Tourer Mark III aluminium rooftop tent, the rooftop tent that practically sets itself up. King's portable gazebos are built ultra strong with a tough steel frame, are easy to set up even by yourself, and are available in multiple sizes for the campsite or the job site. The incredible new 270-degree freestanding awning can be set up in just 40 seconds and wraps around the side and the back of your car for incredible amounts of shelter. Hit the water on a King's inflatable stand-up paddleboard for an insane amount of fun at the beach, the river or the dam. But warning, it's highly addictive. Plus there's fridges, solar panels and more to make every adventure incredible. At 4-wheel drive Supacentre, you get more for less.
Waking up in Paul's warm shack was magnificent, especially considering where we should have been. But Paul's generosity didn't end there. It just so happened that he's a skilled mechanic himself, as well as a whole lot of other trades that he's obviously good at. He's rebuilt several 4-wheel drives and even built himself one from scratch, so it wasn't surprising that he had a few spare parts lying around. It looked as if our luck had changed, and as it just happened, Paul had an old 60 series chassis in his backyard, and the one good bit on it was a little bit of hub, just the one I needed. We all chipped in and went to work, the super coach and Gleno ripping the 60 to bits, and me over there on Milo, so we could get back on the road and continue our trip. But while we worked, I wanted to get to know Paul better, as I know it wasn't the first time he's come to the rescue. How long you been here?
Oh, 20 years or so. Coming down here when I was a young fella and kept on coming back.
So we're actually on your land, aren't we?
That's right, yeah.
How much have you got here?
100 acres, yeah.
100 acres of paradise. The boys are pretty intrigued by this this medal inside there, the certificates.
Oh.
What's all that about?
A couple of years ago I rescued a kayaker out off the Pieman there. He got a Canadian fella, he was paddling around by himself, and there was a couple of friends there was out, had some pots set out in the point. They happened to see him and come back and told me, and surveyed the situation and decided to go out there and have a crack at getting him back.
Geez, you're modest, mate. I read that thing in there. They reckon there's 5, 6, 7 metre seas.
Yeah, 7 metres.
Roaring southwesterly, 7 metre seas, and you went out in a tinny to rescue some bloke.
Yeah. He wrote an article and sent the magazine out to me from Canada.
And when you pulled him out of the water, by the reading of that, he was just about done.
Oh, he was
stuffed.
yeah, he was on his last legs, yeah.
Holy dooly.
Yeah.
He owes his life to you, doesn't he?
Don't mind helping out there or anybody, you know, that's what you do, isn't it?
Mate, that's what you do.
No,
And you know,
anybody would do the same thing.
National Parks want this land. If they get hold of it, they're going to stick gates up and they're going to charge people to come in. And here you've got a guy who lives here, who lets everyone come through his land, who cleans up after them, who rescues them, saves their lives, and doesn't charge them a penny.
Oh.
Mate, don't you reckon? I can see a big contradiction in all that, you know what I mean?
Oh, well.
I think it's fantastic, Paul. I mean, you're saving my butt, you know.
Only too pleased to help, mate. Yeah.
Oh, good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Paul was a hero before he met us, but now, I tell you, he's definitely our hero too. Milo was back to her former self, and it was time to head off.
Roothy, are we the luckiest guys in the world just to bloody run across that man?
But mate, that was amazing. I mean, I know the bloke saves lives, but he saved our life last night, didn't he? That was fantastic.
I'll tell you what, there's not many people do that kind of stuff anymore. That sort of out-of-the-way hospitality used to be the old Australia, I guess. It's nice to see it's not dead and gone. Good on you, Paul. Thanks, mate. That was awesome. We're heading our way towards Corinna, where we'll cross the Pieman River and then make our way inland to the old mining town of Balfour. What I hadn't told the boys is that I had a little surprise up my sleeve. I've got a detour in mind that's sure to put a few driving skills to the test. Time to get the gumboots on. I think things are going to get a little bit muddy up here. Well, we wanted a challenge, and I reckon Farmer Don's given us one. He's pointed us from the back of his property at an old pack track. Now, a pack track is something they used in the horse days. Don here tells me that this track that leads out the back of his farm hasn't been driven on in years. He told me that it gets rather swampy down the bottom, and there's one almighty slope that could be all washed out by now. In fact, the last thing that went down this track was 30 years ago, and it had big treads on it. Yep, it was a bulldozer. Oh dear. Oh well, let's see what the weather's done to this one. This is going to be really interesting. Add to that the rain, the fact that it involves a whole lot of peat moss, a couple of channels where no one knows how deep they are, and then it pops out in the middle of a swamp. Wow, everyone's ready. We got our winches out, we got everything set, ready to rock and roll. Tyres are down, brollies are up. Let's lunge off into the unknown. I actually love this bit. I wonder if there's an iceberg up here somewhere. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to slide all the way to the bottom, I think. Hopefully the front of the truck will be in front of the truck instead of behind it.
Just on that note, John, as a bit of a safety precaution, we'll give you a bit of space so we don't slide back into you. Pretty important in these sort of conditions.
Too right, Dave. Good point. Give me lots of space. All I'm doing here is aiming it dead straight with the rear locker on. Starting to slip already. There's no traction here, but my old girl's pretty good at this stuff. It's not too bad actually so far. I'll tell you what though, it's going to get worse for every vehicle that comes through. This is where the cows have cleared it a bit, so it's really soft and soggy.
Not much steering, is there?
Aim straight and hope for the best.
Yeah.
We've got to watch out. There's a big ditch just near my left wheel there, and it ain't good. I'm taking it easy because I'm on the lookout for a fence. Farmer Don tells me that when we get past that fence, that's where the fun will begin. Whoa, this is looking interesting already. Now, I've come up to this electric fence pretty easily, and Don said just go right ahead and cut it, John. I'm just hoping Don remembered to switch it off. If you ever have to cut a fence, there's really only one rule, and that is, if it's already been cut it there, okay? That way the farmer doesn't have two repairs to make, just one. And in this case, this has already been cut and then wrapped. A wrap is just a tight wind, you'll see that in a minute. There's a bit of a trick to undoing a wrap, just like there is to doing one. And it all starts with a little spanner. Righto, let's go and have a look at it. Well, this is it. This is where it's been cut before. This is called a wrap. It's pretty easy to unwrap. All you do is get a loose end and start turning, and it should unwrap. This is high tensile wire. That means it's thin, very hard to bend. You bend it 3 or 4 times and it breaks. And we've left it in such a manner that it can be easily repaired. Righto.
Let's do it. Good work, John.
Just as Don said, we're straight into it with challenge number 1, a slippery, sloppy hill climb. Whoa, look at this, fantastic. Now this sort of country, it rains so much and it gets so soft, it's just like mud and slush under your feet. And if it's like that under your feet, it's going to be like that under your wheels too.
Oh. It's a little rough ride, I think, brother.
What you want to do is pick your track, try and keep it straight and use a bit of momentum to get through. And sometimes you'll find you just slip there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Come on, Gleno.
Didn't lose traction at all, did they?
No.
Oh, great big hole coming up, guys. I hope it's like the rest of them, it's fairly stable on the bottom.
Okay, well, since you're going first, we'll watch very closely what happens.
Sometimes when you're in a mud puddle that's got a reasonably hard bottom somewhere, you can find it by back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then when you do get clear, you've already pretty much punched a little bit of traction through a lot of it. So then you can go back, give it the berries and hopefully get through. Oh, it was dead easy.
Yeah, you made it pretty right for everybody else too.
Lots of mumbo, guys, or I'll be snatching you.
We had mumbo.
Snorkels on, fellas. This looks wet. There's another one coming up just like it. Holy dooly. And look what's ahead. Oh boy. When you got terrain like this, you don't know where the water is once you get off the track. At least on the track you can see it, and there's a fair chance that the bottom of the track is going to be reasonably solid, so you'll get a little bit of traction. So really, it's one of those 50-50 things. You can go off the track, take advantage of the button grass for a bit of traction, and then find yourself in a ginormous mud hole somewhere, or you can stay on the track and find yourself in a ginormous mud hole somewhere. Either way, you've got to have a go. Oh, this is going to be fun.
How good was that?
One mighty drive.
Far out! I thought my old girl was pretty special before. Now I'm thinking she's great.
Here we go, Donny.
Righto. This is the deep bit. Keeps trying to kick us to the right, stay to the left.
Come on, Dave. He's through.
Oh, well driven, Dave.
Come on, Gleno, give it the berries. Plenty of momentum, that's what you need. Yes, we're through. Woohoo!
Well done, son. Well done, mate. Felt good.
Big plunge into the poo here. Not much for it, except to have a go. I've got both lockers on. I'm going to go my hardest. Reverse. Always a good gear for getting out of trouble. And that's as far as we can go in reverse. Now I'll drive forwards. The famous Roothy technique for paddles deeper than your truck. That steep slope we were told about. And the word steep is a bit of an understatement. This thing looks absolutely gruesome. The real problem with this slope is just the sheer nature of what can happen if it all goes wrong. We've reached the hill, straight off the edge. It's one of the steepest slopes I've seen in a long time. And there's a little bit of shale underneath here, so there's a bit of solid in it. Then you get to this bit here, and this is treacherous. So we're going to knock the edge off it. Hopefully we'll have a bit of a dig here, play with the shovels. Oh well, I'm game to give it a go. And I guess if I get there, we're all in. Might do a bit of road building first though, eh? Here we are again, making tracks. You going to worry about the rest of it or just let the truck flatten it? Go and do some driving, please. This slope could be pretty dangerous and a bloke could roll all the way to the bottom. So I've got to concentrate here. One bad wheel placement, one slip, and it's all over. I'll tell you what, I've got the rear locker in, I've got the throttle lock turned right off, I'm dragging the motor here. All I want to do is try and hold on to a little bit of traction. So there'll be no hard stabs on the brakes, no tricky stuff at all. Just straight down, take it easy, and you can guarantee I'm pretty much stuck to the seat all the way. Where's my right wheel, mate?
Just come this way a fraction, John. That's it. Just drive forward on that.
Righto. Whew, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy to be down the bottom of that one and still on all four wheels. That's even better. That one could have reshaped the roof, I tell you. Hey, who's next?
Controls.
Well, this sort of thing certainly isn't for an inexperienced driver. It's not the sort of place where you want to be learning how to use the clutch or finding out where the other gear is. And as far as pedal pressure goes, I guess that's where experience really comes in. All our guys are good value. They've all done lots of trips. They're all capable of bringing a vehicle down this hill. Oh, look at that. As usual, Dave's doing it dead easy in the Nissan. Glenn built this 80 specifically for horrible four-wheel driving. Wonder if he figured it'd have a lifespan of 2.8 seconds if it rolls down this hill. We just had a bit of a look around the corner, down the bottom of the hill here. And it looks a bit like quicksand. Where it's not quicksand, it's talcum powder. Don just sank up to his knees and he was trying to walk around it. This could be really good. Just when you think you've done the hard bit, eh? Well, this rain wasn't exactly part of my surprise detour, and as the ground is turning into mush, it's bound to happen sooner or later. Dave's sunk, and he's gonna need a snatch out. Come on, Mr. Miller. We'll get that patrol out. Now, realising what this track is like down here, it would normally be a great decision to turn back. But we're committed now because there's no chance in hell we're going to get back up that slope. The only way is forward, and that's where we're going to go. Well, we're going to try and go there. Come on, guys. Oh dear, Milo's turn to play in the mud. Looks like Dave's going to have to return the favour. Quicksand. That's called quicksand. Just wondering how we're going to get Milo out of here. There's nothing to pull off in front.
I could probably just winch you backwards.
Yeah, okay. I think that's what we'll do, mate. I'm out and we're off again. Good on you, Dave. Thanks, mate. I'm going to try and go back about 5 metres and then spear off to the left and go through the scrub. Better avoid the quicksand on this track from now on. It's not that far to the end now, and hopefully there'll be some firmer ground when we get back on the route. We made it down the farm track okay, eventually, pretty good going. Well, the evening's fast approaching, so it's a good time to set up camp while we still have enough light to find some firewood.
This is magnificent.
I'm banging for a good feed.
Well, I'm glad you're hungry because you need to be really hungry to eat my meals, I'll tell you.
Pretty cold down here in the winter, and a good campfire makes things a whole lot better, I can tell you. It's really good to have an awning, even though it's not raining, because tonight there's going to be a whole lot of moisture in the sky It'll just help keep the swag a bit drier. Jack doesn't mind being under the awning either. Oh, wow. Only in Australia, eh? What a beautiful campsite. Right next to the ocean. Fireplace over here. Life doesn't get any better than that. I wonder who's got a beer. We picked up a little bit of kindling further down the track just so we'd have something dry to kick the fire off with.
Good on you guys.
You know, all day long you had to keep those hot coals glowing on the front seat of the 80 series. I think that's so impressive. Trent has got this beaut recipe that he sent in for Guinness pot roast. Let's go and give it a go. Now, what makes a good recipe? I'll tell you, it has to be very tasty, it has to be very simple, and it doesn't have to involve beer, but gee, that helps. Good on you, Trent. Righto, now here we go. It starts out with some oil in the pot. I'm using really good quality olive oil because, Trent, I want to give your recipe every chance of success. Once the oil's starting to heat up a bit, we get the pot roast. Pot roast is essentially a great big lump of steak that hasn't been sliced up. In she goes. Trent says what you should do is brown it on both sides. That's what I'm going to do. Oh mate, you got me. That's smelling great already. We haven't done anything. We're on a winner. So far so good. It's browning up really nicely. I like the look of that. One of the best things about Trent's recipe is that it's very, very simple. Plus, it's got to involve ingredients that you can get pretty much anywhere. Because let's face it, when you live our lifestyle, you're not necessarily going to be next to the biggest supermarket in town, are you? It's browning up really well. I think it's pretty important to brown the meat. I'm assuming that right from the start because if you do that, it always gives that extra crispy flavour on the outside of the roast. In a minute, when everything's in there, we're going to put this roast in the fire. Be too late then to give it that nice crispy thing on the outside, you know, and that really makes a good roast. Trent pointed out in his recipe that it's a good idea to add the salt and pepper to taste about now. Oh, gee, it smells good. We're doing well. Once that's hooked up a bit, next thing we do is add some mushrooms. In they go. And some onions. There we go. Anything that's got mushrooms and onions in has got to be good, hasn't it? Okay, 2 cans of Guinness Extra Stout. No worries. Bingo, here we go, mate. Oh, look at that. I've always wanted to open 2 cans of beer at once. What do you mean I usually do? There we go, get a couple of cans. He did say that you wanted about 2/3 covered, so we might have to add some more in a minute, but there's a few other things to go in. This is apple cider vinegar. That's probably about 1/4 cup or something like it, you know, we'll get there. And he's also said 1 cup of brown sugar. I know what's happening here, don't you? We've got the Guinness in there, we've got the brown sugar, we've got the vinegar. We're coming up with a malt. It's going to be a very malty taste happening here. Okay, what do you reckon? Trent, is that a cup? That'll do. Another can of Guinness. There we go. Okay, now where's the lid? Well, I'm thinking probably 1.5 to 2 hours in the fire. So I reckon we'll have a look at it in about 1.5 hours time, okay? We'll go and make a fire for it. Oh, boy, that smells good. Mate, you could be on a winner. Oops. Look at that. How good is that? Wow. Oh, it's done beautiful. It's kind of like medium rare. and I think that could be perfect. To serve this, on Trent's recommendation, we made up some mashed potato. I don't have to tell you how to make mashed potato, do I? I hope not. We'll do this restaurant style because it's really deserving of it, I think. And I need a taste tester. Where's Gleno? Do you want to give this a taste? Come on up, mate. I'll just put a little bit of the mushroom sauce on top. You know what? I think this is going to be restaurant quality, Gleno.
It smells good.
It smells really good, doesn't it?
I tell you what.
Good recipe, Trent. You know what we've got here? We've got restaurant quality food cooked on the fire in the bush. And actually, by the way Gleno's going, I think we better all get into this fairly swiftly or there'll be none left.
Don't tell them.
Thanks, Trent.
Get more for less at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre with insane deals on King's DIY storage and 12-volt gear to build your dream 4-wheel drive. Whether it's an inverter you need to run 240-volt gear on the job site or the campsite, a battery box or a 12-volt control box to easily access your power, King's 12-volt DIY gear is what you need to take your 12-volt setup to the next level. Need a battery? King's has you covered with a full range of AGM, slimline and lithium batteries in sizes ranging from 98 amp hour to 200 amp hour. All built with ultra high quality components to go the distance. And of course you just can't beat King's solar panels and blankets to silently charge your batteries anytime the sun's out. At 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre, you get more for less.
We're going to have bacon with bacon and scrambled egg bacon. And I thought that we'd have some bacon with the bacon, on the bacon. Time to get the camp packed away, and we've got quite a lot of ground to cover today, and it looks as if this weather's on the turn. Oh well, no surprise there really, is it? This is Tasmania. Glorious one day. Oh, total mess by about lunchtime. Well, at last we're back on firmer ground, and now we're on our way to Corinna, so we can board the Fat Man. Kind of sounds strange, doesn't it? Oi, get that truck off my belly. The Fat Man can only transport 2 vehicles at a time, and it costs around $20, depending on the size of the vehicle. It operates during normal daytime working hours, and they sort of change it depending on what time of year. So make sure you check before making your trip. But if you get here sometime in the daylight, there's a fair chance that they'll let you on. The locals here are pretty friendly. Well, we made it at last. All we have to do from here is head north and get on the Balfour track. That's going to be a very tough track, but personally I can't wait for it. I'm ready for another one. This will be good. They call the ferry the Fat Man because it always sat on a couple of big barrel-like hulls. And it's a terrific ferry, it really is. It's only a short trip, but it's one of those, like the one at the Daintree, that you just kind of think of as the gateway to a new frontier. And of course, the Pieman River itself, well, why do they call it the Pieman? Because apparently, an old convict who used to sell pies in Hobart Town, of all things, this is where he escaped to. Well, 30 k's north of the Pieman, and everything's changed again. It's cold, freezing actually. Started raining again, and the terrain is completely different. We seem to have been climbing for ages, and we're in some sort of mountain country. It's just beautiful. Well, with a bit of luck, we'll get to the Balfour track today. We might even get up it. See what happens. The locals reckon the Balfour is tricky enough when it's good. When it's wet, and at this time of year after the winter, and all the winter rains, it's not real sharp at all apparently. But that's all right, that's what we want, a challenge. I reckon it'll be fun. Before they punch through this road, the Western Development Road, there was nothing here. Just a handful of tracks. And you know what? There's still nothing here. It's got to be one of the largest patches of wilderness around. Absolutely unreal. Well, this is it, guys. This is the Balfour track. It actually crosses the Great Western Road here. We turn right to go and have a look at Balfour. It's only a couple of k's in, so we'll go and check that out before we check out the track down to the coast.
Roothy, is this an old mining community?
Yes, yeah, it's all abandoned now. I've never been up there, believe it or not. We've tried a couple of times and always get stopped. But I reckon this time we'll get there. Being an old mining settlement, this place would have had tracks cut into it all over the place. Some to go and fetch timber for the engines, fires, you'd want fires here most of the year, and lots of timber for shoring up mines and things like that too. And then of course you got all the tracks that people used to get in and out of their claims. Now a lot of these are still here, most of them have been driven over. The only problem is, we've got to try and find the old town. Now I'm betting it'll be on the biggest of the tracks, so we'll just kind of follow through and see what we come up with. Doesn't really matter, does it? This is great fun driving around here. Look at this. I don't care where we are, we'll find it. Just keep looking.
John, we must be very close to the old town now, mate.
Yep, it should be... Oh, hang on, what's this? Oh, holy dolly. I reckon this is about where it is, but it's not what I expected.
Where was this?
Middle of nowhere.
Someone here. I'll go say good day. Come on, Jake.
G'day, Roothy. What are you doing here?
Surprise, surprise. Oh, mate, look at this. Oh, Henry's.
You should come in and have a look.
Thank you. Love to. Oh, once again, Richard here has proved to us the great hospitality that Tasmanians offer. He's invited us in to see his collection of artefacts and all the memorabilia he's collected around here from Balfour and put in his shack. The old photographs here are wonderful, but I wanted to know a little bit more about where here is and what Richard's story is. And it's fair to say, I was truly inspired. What's the deal though? This is where Balfour was then. We got that bit right.
Yeah, this is Balfour, but this is it was the Imperial Hotel.
Is that it up there?
And that's it up there.
Far out.
And I think that's about 1912.
Right.
I'm not positive.
Yeah.
We're in front of the left chimney, if you can see.
Okay, yeah.
The original one, you know, like it was half fallen to bits.
Oh, that's what it looked like before.
Yeah, so we just thought we'd put a new front on it just to, I don't know,
Make it look good.
Make it look a bit better.
Oh, it looks pretty good. I love your arch.
And this was the commercial room.
Oh, okay.
It was called the commercial room, and I suppose that's where all the wheeling and dealing was done at the time.
Yeah. And you've bought this block?
Yep.
Have you? Yeah.
Yep.
And I notice you've called it Henry's, but your name's Richard.
Yeah. No, it's Henry's because of Lee, and unfortunately, we lost Lee in February last year, and he used to come down here and light the fire, and
that's him and his mates there.
Yeah, him and his mates. They'd light the fire and they'd have a beer and cook a sausage, and so we just thought, we'll put this up. She's pretty rough and ready. Yeah. But it's here for everybody to use. It's not just for us. It's for everybody. Fellas like you coming through. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And, that's what she's for.
Everyone's hanging around the fire underneath the roof. Nobody wants to go anywhere. The commercial room feels really good.
The dog's happy in front of the fire.
And the dog is over the moon. Every now and then when you're travelling, you find places you don't want to leave. And in Australia that can happen a fair bit because it's such a fantastic country, and we've got so many interesting people and so many stories in the bush. And I've got to tell you, the site of the old hotel here, the shack that Richard and his mates have put together, to remember his son is one of those places. You could quite happily unroll your swag and spend a week here if you had enough beer. Guys, I think we better move on, eh? Because we haven't. So, yeah, we're off. Chuck the bra on Milo, and the other guys are too. Just see if we can cut down some of the water ingress. My problem is I've got holes in the floor. Wonder if I can get a bra for that.
Snow. Here.
Freezing rain.
There you go.
It's 0 degrees outside right now.
Wow.
This is as cold as I've ever felt it here. So, you know, that wind, wherever it's coming from, is off the snow.
This was it, the final leg of our journey, the Balfour track.
Yeah, mate, this is the one the locals have been telling us about. If you're going to do any track down this way, they said the Balfour.
I think Richard was right. There's more water here than the average council swimming pool.
And it goes on and on and on, but looks at the John.
Oh, it does, mate. I've barely got enough time to drain the water off the floor in my life. I'm feeling it under my knees.
Well, boy, we knew it was going to be wet up here, but I had no idea it'd be this bad. The saving grace is that although the puddles are long and deep, the bottom is fairly rocky. Once you get to it anyway, it's just a case of trying to keep some momentum.
Every second puddle straight over the bonnet and up over the roof here.
The biggest drama having water this deep all the way down the track is that it's going to get into everything. There's going to be water in the diff, water in the box, water in the transfer. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff that's just looking to go wrong, especially when it's gritty water like this stuff, but we'll see how we go. First things first, let's just get through it. When we went through that puddle back there, something went wrong with Milo. I think it's probably just an earth connection, but I've got no battery power, so I'll just give it a quick jump start to get it going again. Give her a go, Glenn. That's the complete beautiful. Having covered a lot of ground, we've made it about 3/4 of the way down the track, and we haven't got that far to go to get to Tema, which is the end of our trip back out on the coast. I'll tell you what though, we made it through some pretty deep water back there, but around the corner we certainly weren't expecting this. Oh wow, we thought that last one was hard. This one's got so much still water in the middle of it that it's possibly going to be a lot deeper. Now, there's only one thing I'm going to try that's slightly different here. I'm going to try it in first gear low range instead of second. I'm going to take a bet that the bottom is as sturdy as the bottom was in the last one and that the water's just as deep. Because what happened last time was the bow wave, correction, the windscreen wave, just about overwhelmed the truck. I was pushing that much water in front of me that I think I was going to wind up getting buried, to be honest. Now, apart from having a wet bum, wet feet, wet socks and wet boots, you've got to look on the bright side of things. I'm not too worried about the salt from the beach the other day now. I reckon we've washed it all off. Righto, let's go and give this one a go. Oh, that's nothing. Oh, hang on, what's this? Oh, it's up to me bum again too. Fellow submariners, I'd like to report I'm going to pull over so I can come back and watch you guys.
This is the one. Ho, ho, ho. No, that's real bad stuff, isn't it?
We're floating, Johnny.
That's up over his bonnet. That's up his windscreen. Still going.
Roothy, we started to float there.
There we go. Deepest one of the trip. Holy freaking hell, look at that. Oh, it's right up here. Holy Jesus. That was huge. That was massive.
Wow, man.
How big was that?
That was a deep one.
That was massive. Huge. Woo.
Well, that's definitely the longest, deepest water crossing that Milo's ever done, that I've ever done. I've got a wet bum, wet socks, wet boots, wet pants and wet elbows. Are we having fun yet? You bet we are. This is unreal. You know why? Because we got through. And you want to know the really good bit? There's another one just over the hill. So I might as well be wet this side of it, eh? Let's go. A few more splashes later and we've made it to within sight of the finish of our trip.
Whoa, look at that, guys. I can see the sea. Woohoo!
I thought we were in the sea back there for a while. Submarine action.
Yeah, well, let's hope this track doesn't just sort of end, driving off into the sea.
Couple more steps down and we're in the clear. We made it. Well done, guys. I think that's the end of the track. Done good.
Done fine.
Fellow submariners.
Submariners.
Played strong.
Good on you, Glenn. It was interesting, wasn't it? River crossings are one thing, eh?
Yeah.
You go in, a little bit of a dodge and you're out. Sometimes you just thought you're never going to come out of those holes.
I reckon.
Oh, come on. Let's pack up the bras and get out of here.
Bunch of girls.
Bunch of girls.
Forget building your own set of storage drawers or paying well over $1,000 for a set elsewhere, and get your hands on a set of incredibly tough and unbeatable value for money Titan storage drawers. Our entire range of Titan storage drawers have been built to handle just about anything you can throw at them. All models of Titan double drawers come with an included built-in fridge slide on the left-hand side, saving you up to $200 compared to some other brands that charge extra for a fridge slide. Each drawer top also has these heavy-duty spring-loaded tie-down points to secure your gear on even the most corrugated roads. We've put them through their paces like none other. We've jumped on them, overloaded them with bricks, chucked an engine on the drawers at full extension, absolutely flooded them and used them off-road year after year to prove just how tough they are. The Titan 900 single drawer is perfect for those who have limited space to install a storage drawer. It has internal dimensions of 430mm wide, 790mm long and 190mm deep. The Titan 900 double drawer setup is ideal for smaller wagons like Prados, Pajeros and SUVs, with the internal dimensions identical to the 900 single drawer on each side. The Titan 1300 ute drawers are made specifically for vans and utes. The internal dimensions are 1200mm long, 430mm wide and 150mm high. The 1300mm single drawers are also a cracking addition to the back of vans and utes. The internal dimensions are the same as the double 1300 drawers, but have an extra 40mm of depth, making them 190mm deep. And finally, for the bigger wagons like Land Cruisers and Patrols, the double 1070 storage drawers have internal dimensions of 880mm long, 470mm wide, and 180mm of depth. They come 95% pre-assembled, and all you need to install them is a couple of basic hand tools and a couple of hours on a lazy Sunday arvo. You can also add optional wing kits, both model specific and DIY, so you can finish off the back of your four-wheel drive and have plenty of storage available for your next adventure. Take your setup to the next level with the incredibly tough and unbeatable value for money Titan storage drawers.
If you're after a next level 12-volt upgrade for your vehicle or your next camping trip, then check this out. The Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium battery. This uses high capacity, brand new grade A lithium iron phosphate cells capable of thousands of cycles. It's paired with a high quality BMS able to output up to 160 amps of current. The future of 12-volt setups is here. Lithium batteries are super lightweight and still have heaps of power capacity. In fact, this battery weighs just over 15 kilos. That's about half as much as a similar capacity AGM. But that's not all. Lithium batteries have the ability to use their entire capacity from 100 to 0% and still have an incredibly long life. The reason Adventure King's lithium batteries are so good is because they use lithium iron phosphate chemistry. That means if you're using the entire 120 amp hours of capacity in this battery every day, it would still last almost 5.5 years. Some cheap lithium batteries use grade B or even second-hand cells to keep the cost down, but not here. Adventure King's lithium iron phosphate batteries use brand new grade A prismatic cells. When these batteries are assembled, each individual cell is matched with others and then grouped. Then those cells are balanced, which means that these batteries always function at their best and ensure you have full capacity. Another major feature of these Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium batteries is the high quality internal battery management system. This BMS for short takes care of the individual cells. It balances them while you're charging your battery. It prevents overcharge, over-discharge, over-temperature and short circuits. A high quality BMS is so important, and it's also incredibly important to match the BMS to the cells and the use of the battery. A good indicator of a high quality BMS is to look for high current discharge and charge ratings. This battery is capable of charging and discharging constantly at up to 100 amps, and it can do a peak discharge of 160 amps of current. A high discharge current and a high peak discharge current are very important if you want to run things like inverters that need a lot of power when they turn on to fill the capacitors. If you're looking at a battery that has a much lower charge and discharge rate, they could be cost cutting by using a cheaper BMS. Lithium iron phosphate is a safe technology, unlike some other lithium chemistries, and Adventure King's lithium batteries are doubly safe. Not only are they sealed and safe to use in your vehicle, they've also passed a short circuit test, overcharge test, over temperature test, and a vibration test, so they're ready to be put to use. Some lithium batteries are extremely sensitive to hot and cold temperatures, and they can be damaged or destroyed by trying to use them. Adventure King's batteries though can be charged anywhere from 0 to 50 degrees Celsius and used or discharged anywhere from -20 right through to +60 degrees Celsius. They use threaded M8 terminals for high power output and easy connection. Measuring in at 330mm long by 162mm wide and 215mm tall, they fit perfectly in an Adventure King's battery box for a lightweight and powerful portable power station. And with 120 amp hours on tap, you could run a camping fridge for 5 or even 6 days. Or you can permanently install them in your vehicle for a next level super powerful setup that barely weighs anything. And for that reason, they're perfect for your four-wheel drive, motorhome, caravan or camper trailer, where you need to be concerned about GVM and GCM limits. So if you want a safe, lightweight, super powerful and super long-lasting lithium battery for your next level setup, you can't beat an Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium battery.
Introducing the incredible Adventure King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. Your new best mate for delicious barbecue or campfire cooking and warm, cozy fires whether you're at home in your backyard or at your favorite campsite. Let me show you all the things that I absolutely love about it, and I'm sure you're gonna love too. This amazing bit of gear has been designed right here in Australia, and it combines a camping stove and a portable barbecue into one. It can run off multiple fuel sources: wood, heat beads, charcoal, briquettes, and more. When it's time to cook up a feast, you can fit 2 large pots or pans on this huge flat cooktop surface that measures in at 520mm long by 300mm wide. That's enough space to cook up a feast for the entire family. And because it runs on wood or heat beads, you can leave the gas bottle behind, one less thing to pack. And when you want a beautiful roaring campfire, use the included hook tool to simply lift the 2-piece lid off completely and just add in some more firewood. The raised and closed design means you won't risk scorching your grass, your deck, or even your driveway. And you'll be able to use it for a beautiful warm fire at campsites that don't allow open ground fires. Plus, your fire would last longer because you're closer to the heat. Now that's cozy. The enclosed design means it's super efficient, and you can make the most of your fuel by directing the heat exactly where you want it. You can even adjust the temperature of your fire by varying the airflow. With these sliding vents on the side, a 2-piece removable lid on top, and an adjustable flue, you're always in control. Remove the entire lid for an open fire, or just this circular inner piece if you need extra heat for cooking, like searing steaks to finish them off. And this up here, now that is a real game changer. A chimney that extends over 2.4 meters off the ground to direct smoke away from your campsite for smoke-free campfires. You can even position the premium camp oven stove under your awning, your gazebo, or your shed for maximum warmth. And the angular offset chimney piece allows smoke to funnel away rather than getting trapped underneath. There's even a spark arrestor on top for good measure. There are so many more things to absolutely love about the King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. It's been designed to be super sturdy with these 4 large legs that extend the footprint a foot wider in both directions for excellent stability. The legs simply screw into the bottom like this, and you can remove the middle piece for a lower fire. This huge access door swings open with the included hook tool to allow you to easily refill the premium camp oven stove as required. Inside, you've got this fuel rack that keeps your wood or your charcoal up off the floor, maximising airflow and preventing wasted heat. It's a breeze to transport, set up and pack down too, with no tools required. Each of the 4 2-piece legs simply screw together and the chimney pieces pack into each other, with everything fitting into the main body of the premium camp oven stove for simple transport. Make sure you don't miss the incredible genuine cooking accessories available too, like a proper wood-fired meat smoker and a clever barbecue hot plate set to really take your camp cooking to the next level. And a stainless steel water boiler too. Whether I'm at home in my backyard or out camping with family, my mates, or even by myself, I absolutely love my Adventure King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. It's a portable fire pit, it's a wood or charcoal barbecue, and it's the centerpiece of every backyard get-together or camping adventure, and I know you're gonna love yours too.
Introducing the insane new Adventure King's 9-inch lethal LED driving lights. These things have an amazing combination of both spot and flood light. They have 21,840 lab-proven effective lumens per pair. That's over 2,000 more than the previous generation. Plus, they have huge light distance performance with 1 lux at over 1.3 kilometers. These are the LED driving lights that other lights wish they were.
You asked and we listened. You said you wanted even more flood of light out of your LED driving lights to light up the sides of the road, the highway and the tracks. We went back to the drawing board to redesign the lethal LED driving lights to produce exactly that. At the same time, we upgraded the lights to the ridiculously tough King's Laser Light die-cast aluminium housings and 3mm folded steel mounts. So not only are these some of the brightest LED driving lights we've ever sold, but they're also the toughest. How bright? Try a lab-proven 21,840 lumens per pair and one lux of 1,342 meters. That's real-world lumens too, not the theoretical lumens that some lights claim they produce. That's thanks to the genuine German-designed Osram LEDs for simply unparalleled light performance. We've also re-engineered the lethal lights with a new 5,185 Kelvin colour temperature. That means they're just a little bit more on the softer, warmer side. Still a clear, crisp white light, but that little bit easier on the eyes when driving long distances. And of course, you get all the features and quality you'd expect from Adventure King's driving lights, like polycarbonate lenses, the same stuff riot shields and fighter jet canopies are made of, and an IP68 water and dustproof rating, meaning these lights are waterproof to a depth of 1 meter for an hour. Plus, for the first time ever, they're rated to IP69K. That means they can withstand high-pressure jets of hot water. That tough die-cast alloy housing features passive cooling fins and a waterproof breather for longevity, and they have the ability to run on both 12 and 24 volt, meaning they're suitable for everything from cars and four-wheel drives to trucks and machinery. Including the brackets, they measure 250mm high, 230mm wide, and 115mm deep. They have an attachment system that uses two 8mm bolts on either side to positively lock them in place and prevent them from falling out of alignment. And of course, they use the same plug as all previous Adventure King's lights, which makes them an easy 10-minute upgrade. Just unplug your old lights, bolt the new ones on, plug them in, and you're ready to go. Add in a 2-year warranty and you've got a simply incredible set of lights that leave the competition looking a little underwhelming. The Adventure King's 9-inch lethal LED driving lights are the best value LED driving lights on the market. We've re-engineered them to be incredibly tough and incredibly bright. They'll turn night into day, and they're on sale right now for a price you have to see to believe.
You asked and we've listened. The incredible MT1 Go Anywhere camper trailer has just received an ATM upgrade to 2 tons. All new Adventure King's MT1 camper trailers will now come with the new upgraded 2-ton ATM. But don't worry if you already own an MT1, because a retrofit upgrade kit is available too. The MT1 is already an ultra tough trailer with a one-piece 150 by 50mm chassis that extends right from the drawbar all the way to the back of the trailer. Now it's even tougher with upgraded suspension, bearings, brakes and wheels to bring it up to a 2-ton ATM. The brakes are upgraded from 10-inch to 12-inch electric brakes. The alloy rims are now rated to 2-ton ATM. And an upgraded set of suspension arms also suit the upgraded ATM. And for existing owners, the retrofit upgrade is incredibly easy to do at home yourself. Everything just bolts onto the trailer with no modifications needed. That extra payload capacity means that you've got more ability than ever before to carry the gear that you need and still remain legal. For more information and full detailed specs on the MT1, see the 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre website. Now with a 2-ton ATM upgrade, the Adventure King's MT1 Go Anywhere camper trailer can carry more gear than ever before.